Hello! Hi everybody. So today's conversation is going to be, when motherhood gets you down, try this. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Dr. Gemma Elizabeth and I am the founder of ourmuslimhomeschool.com, and I am the mother of 3 lovely kids who I homeschool here in the UK. Great to see you guys already popping on. Assalamu alaikum, so glad you could join us. So today's topic is going to be, when motherhood gets you down, try this. Because we all have bad days and we all have good days as mothers, but sometimes we can get stuck into a rut where it's bad day after bad day after bad day. And we get into that negative place. So today I want to chat with you about how we can get out of that negative mindset and inject some joy back into our lives, that joy that we were longing for. One of the reasons why we became mothers, because we envisioned this happy life with our children. So I want to talk to you about that today. While people are just popping on, a few announcements. First of all, tomorrow there's going to be a big giveaway on Instagram and on Facebook. So you can head over to Our Muslim Homeschool on Instagram and there will be a giveaway announced about lunchtime. So make sure you check that out. Also, next week's live is going to be a live Q&A. So that should be cool. So I'm going to do a call for questions probably on Thursday, and I'll ask for your questions, whatever they are, and I'll try and get through as many as I can. You can leave them for me in the comments underneath that post on Instagram on Thursday. And if you like other people's questions, just heart them or give them a thumbs up or whatever, so that I know which questions are most popular, and feel free to leave as many of your own questions as you like. So that's next week. Is that the 9th of December maybe? And then 2 weeks off, and then I'll be back again on the 30th of December to talk to you about, let me check my calendar, to talk to you about, oh yeah, this is a good one. On the 30th of December, we're going to be saying, I'm just a mum, is that enough? So that's going to be on the 30th of December. Oh, brilliant. Oh, alhamdulillah, I'm so glad you could join us from South Africa. That's amazing. Right, so let's get into this now. When motherhood gets you down, try this. So, in my opinion, you can divide happiness into 2 categories. I like to divide things in categories, guys. So I'm dividing happiness into 2 categories. You have this temporal happiness, a fleeting happiness that comes and it goes, this sort of everyday happiness and joy that you find in your life. And then you have true contentment. You have true inner peace, true inner happiness. And that comes from spiritual training and spiritual means. And one of my favorite ayahs from the Quran is, true happiness lies in the remembrance of Allah. That's one of my absolute favorite ayahs. I think it's Baqarah. If anybody knows which ayah that is, please leave the reference in the comments. And I'm not going to talk too much about true inner peace and contentment today. I will try and touch on it at the end if we have time. I'm going to actually be talking more about the temporal happiness, because even though that is temporal, in my opinion, it still matters. But it's worth bearing in mind that there is this true inner peace that you can attain that will carry you through any trial and tribulation you face. But today I want to talk about the temporal happiness, the one that's fleeting, that joy that gets you through every single day, because it is important, it does matter. So once again, I'm going to divide that into 2 categories. Temporal happiness is happiness that we feel every day, can be obtained in 2 ways. Either by seeing progress in your life or through giving. Now, I'm not even going to talk about giving now, because you guys are mums and you are already giving so much of yourself to your family. So I'm not going to put that burden on you. I'm not going to expect you to give any more than you're already giving. But if you feel like you're at a place in your life where you could give your time, your money, yourself to something else to contribute in some way, then consider that. I'm not going to go into that today because I don't want to burden you with that, but you could consider that. And that is, giving is such an immense way to bring joy to your own heart and to your life. Just like I'm doing now, I'm giving my time and my passion here to share with you some advice and chat with you. This is my way of giving, and it benefits me immensely. So what I want to talk about is progress. When you see progress in your life, that is when you feel happy. So, for example, I'm going to take this to hopefully an example that a lot of you will relate to, your parents. I'm assuming a lot of your parents are like mine. They worked all their life, all their adult life. They worked hard, day in, day out, to provide for their children, to provide a house, food, provide, everything that you could need to set themselves up for life and to set you guys, to set their children up for life. They worked hard, they faced the challenges every day, every battle, they worked towards this aim of retirement. And then retirement comes, and what happens at retirement? Everything stops, everything stagnates. There's no more challenges, there's no more progress, they don't see any more progress in their life. And what happens to a lot of people who retire? 6 months later, they're back in work, or they find some other means to feel that sense of achievement every day, because everybody needs to feel progress in their life. Everybody needs to feel like they're achieving something every day. So if we bring this back to being a mum, how many of us have at some point in our motherhood lives felt like our lives were stagnant, like we've lost ourselves? That's because you're not seeing progress in your life. And progress doesn't need to mean like big, dramatic things, even small things. When you feel like you've lost yourself, that's because there's stagnancy. When you look at your life and you're like, oh my goodness, is this how it's going to be for the next 10 years, every day? What you need, and what I'm going to talk about today, is ways to inject those moments of progress and moments of joy into your daily life that will bring you that happiness, because everybody needs to feel like they're progressing. Everybody needs to feel like they're growing in some way. So, and what will happen is when you see progress in your life, it will lead to momentum. So you might make some small change and it will lead to momentum in other aspects of your life. So what I'll do is I'm going to talk about personally what I've done. And it might not relate to you, but just try and take the principle from it and see if you can relate it to your own life. When I had my first son, and when you're in that initial newborn stage, it's just like survival mode, right? It's just like, just sleep whenever you can sleep, eat whenever you can eat, shower whenever you can shower. So I wasn't really thinking about these things. But when you got a little bit older and I started to feel those negative emotions, one of my friends gave me some skincare products. That's how it started. She gave me some fancy skincare products, and every day I would use it. And I would see small changes in my skin, and that made me feel better. And also just the act of doing something for myself every day made me feel better about myself, made me feel that sense of achievement. And so that had a ripple effect. We've spoken about that ripple effect before. I then went on to sort of start watching what I was eating and start drinking a bit more water, so I would feel better in myself again. And that would feed on to other things. I'd start reading, I'd start exercising. And it all started from a face wash or something very, very small. With my second son, when he was maybe about 6 months old, I started to get that sense of achievement by starting this Instagram account. Now, there are pluses and minuses to that, which I'm going to touch on, but what I would do was, I would post a photo of like the kids' artwork or, a book that I was reading every couple of days. And that gave me a really small sense of achievement, of progress, however silly that may seem. And people would like it or whatever. And it started that momentum. It started that momentum into other things, into other interests. And that happiness and that positive feelings came back, because everybody needs to feel that. They need to feel like their life is progressing. With my daughter, when she was probably about the same age, maybe 4 months, 6 months, somewhere around there, and I was feeling like this is really overwhelming. Every day is the same. I'm losing myself. All those feelings that we feel as mums. What did I do? I'm trying to think. Oh, yes, this is even simpler. I decided that every single day I was going to have a nutritious breakfast. I still ate junk. I'm honest with you. I might have eaten junk before breakfast, after breakfast, and for the rest of the day. But for breakfast, for my actual meal, I made sure that I had something nutritious. And I stuck to that every single, even today, I still stick to that. And I might have cake and later on and all that, but I still have a nutritious breakfast, and it has spiraled. It has given me that little bit of momentum and positivity that I needed in my life to go on and do other things and have more, I'm getting excited, I'm losing words, but it gave me that momentum to go on. And when you get that momentum, you get excited. And when you get excited, you feel happy. And that's what you need when you're a mum at home with little kids. You need to feel that momentum, like life is going somewhere. And because it is, but we need to feel it. So you need to find these little things that you can do in your life to bring you that momentum. There's an amazing quote by Tony Robbins, and he said that the enemy of execution is complexity. I.e., if you make this too complicated, you're not going to even try. If you're thinking, okay, I want to run the marathon, but you're at home with 3 kids under 3, you barely have time to shower, right? That's how it is. How are you going to, that goal seems so far away. Don't make it so complex. Bring it right back to something basic, like trying to drink more water every day. Say you have 4 cups of coffee a day. Get rid of one of those coffees and make it water. Put some lime in it or whatever you like. Keep it really simple, because the simple things build. They add the momentum. They build up to something huge if you let them, but you have to start small. I get excited about this. Sorry, I'm losing my breath. Let me have some water. Right, so the next thing that has changed my life, right? The next thing that's changed my life and that's brought me so much happiness as a mother is being intentional with gratitude. We hear that we should be grateful, and many mums feel guilty about not feeling grateful, about even complaining about things. Oh, you should be grateful, at least you've got kids. You should be grateful, at least your children are healthy. We feel guilty that we're not grateful. You have to teach yourself to be grateful if you're not already there. And that is what I did. I taught myself to be grateful by, again, starting really, really small. Every night before I go to bed, I make a point of intentionally thinking about what I'm grateful for. So I might just list 3 things. I'm so grateful that I have this safe place to sleep at night and I'm not worried about my safety. I'm so grateful that my children have their health. I'm so grateful for something silly, like I'm so grateful for the new shoes that I bought, whatever, but just practicing gratitude. And what you'll find is that it leaks into other parts of your life without you even realizing. You'll be driving along and suddenly this thought will come into your head, oh, I'm so grateful for that. Because you started teaching yourself to think in that way. So gratitude has really changed my life, actually. It's because when you feel grateful, there's absolutely no way you can feel grateful and at the same time feel negative about something. They don't go. You can't be grateful and angry and irritated at the same time. Gratitude just takes all the negative emotions away, and it will feel forced at first if it's not something that you already practice. But again, like I said, just start really, really small. And there will come a point where you realize that you're actually beginning to be grateful for the trials in your life. You might not be there now, but you'll realize that, the difficulties that have come with motherhood are shaping you for the mother and the woman you're going to become, right? So you ask any mum who's gone through the process, and they will tell you that being a mother changed them for the better. They have grown into such a better person because of being a mother. Because that is why everybody's experience with motherhood is so different, because we all have different lessons that we need to learn. I mean, if I look at my own experience as a mum, I know that the trials that I've faced have constantly been trying to teach me to let go, to stop trying to control everything and give it back to Allah. I know that's the lesson that Allah's trying to teach me constantly, because I get the same trials all the time and I still haven't learned my lesson. So there might be a trial that you're facing right now as a mum, and that maybe right now you don't feel like you don't feel grateful for it, but maybe looking back in 5 years' time, you'll be so grateful that you had that trial. And that's what many mothers feel like when they come out of motherhood, that just being a mother has changed their life for the better because they are now a better person. How many of us feel like that now about our own moms? We think, oh my goodness, is this what my mom went through with me? I'm so grateful to her. And you are going through that same thing as well. And there's another quote that I love by C.S. Lewis. And he said that, isn't it funny how every day seems the same, but then when you look back, everything's different? And that is exactly what motherhood's like, isn't it? Every day seems the same, but hopefully you're making little changes and growing as a person. But when you look back, you will be a completely different person. If I look back at the person I was before I had my first child, I'm almost ashamed of who I was. I was so egocentric and I was so selfish. I had no idea about the needs and the requirements to be a mother. If I look back at who I've become now, and I hope in another 10 years when I look back, I will see that life has completely changed and I have completely changed for the better. And that, hopefully when you get to a place where you're practicing gratitude, you will realize that you're in that process right now and you'll start to feel grateful even for the trials. But if you can't feel grateful for the trials, just feel grateful for the little things. Feel grateful for that great breakfast you had. Feel grateful for, your kids playing well. Try and practice gratitude if you can. So those are the two main things that I wanted to talk about today. It was this idea of building momentum in your life, finding things to give you that sense of progress and sense of achievement. And I also wanted to talk about gratitude and how that has shaped me and changed my life and my outlook on life. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments for me now. And I'm going to have a little scroll through. And if you missed the beginning, I made a few announcements. So Monday, tomorrow, there's going to be a giveaway here on Instagram. So check out my main page and there should be an announcement for a giveaway around lunchtime. So you make sure you look out for that. And the other announcement was next week we're doing live Q&A. So this same time, Sunday, 10 a.m. If you have any questions for me, what I'll do is I'll put a post up on Thursday and you can leave your questions under that post and I will answer as many as I can. And if you like other people's questions, you can just like them or heart them or whatever. So I know which ones are popular. Sorry, the camera's shaking a bit here when I'm scrolling. I recently gave a talk at a Muslim conference here in the USA and I highly recommend your work to mothers. Jazakallah khair. Oh, thank you so much, Nora. That's so kind of you. Oh, alhamdulillah. That's amazing. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. I'm from Indonesia. Oh, assalamu alaikum. That's so cool. I love this. Wa alaikum salam, Nora. Shukran for the topic. I'm still scrolling, guys. Sorry. This is all a bit boring for you to watch, isn't it? Okay, here we go. You're so cute. Oh, thank you. Being a mother is so challenging, yeah. It is challenging. For sure, Wasila, it is challenging. But if you try and look for the wisdom and the lessons that you're supposed to learn in it, it does help. If you try and think, what am I supposed to be learning from this? I often do that actually when one of my kids might be having a tantrum or some kind of challenge. I'm just thinking, what am I supposed to learn from this? Because everything happens for a reason. We know that, right? Everything, even your children's tantrums, they're happening for a reason. So what is that reason? That's what I try and work it out like. And then when you've learned that lesson, Allah's not going to put it back in your life again. Once you learn what it is you're supposed to learn, and for me, like I mentioned before, it's about letting go and stop trying to control things. When you've learned your lesson, you won't face those trials again. Wa alaikum salam. Okay, so I think we're going to end here then. And for those of you who have, who've been watching these videos regularly, you realize that I'm having an issue with my internet connection, but I am working really hard to try and sort that out. Where we live, there isn't very great. There's not a lot of options, but right now my husband is actually on the phone, seeing if we can change our internet connection to make it faster, so the picture quality is better, the sound is better, and hopefully I can get Facebook on here again as well. So we are trying to make adjustments for that so that these videos and these lives will be better quality and a better experience for you as well. And so yeah, I will see you next week, same time, 10 a.m. on Sunday, and we'll do that live Q&A. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you have a lovely Sunday. Assalamu alaikum.